Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This is your favorite ringside physician, Dr. Vazquez, and this is the Octagon Doctor channel, your #1 place on the internet to talk about MMA and boxing fight injuries, post-fight coverage, and analysis. Well, today we had a super busy night of fights. We had Holly Holm versus Irene Aldana in UFC Fight Island #4. Plus, we had a boxing pay-per-view running concomitantly in ESPN Plus, of course, where I'm talking about Ivan Baranchyk versus Jose Zepeda. And I wanted to start the night of coverage with that fight and talking about that fight. A great competitive fight, but it was highlighted by an amazing knockout. I'm going to show you guys a little excerpt of the knockout here. As you guys are seeing it, it was a swift left hand by Zepeda that put Baranchyk on his butt. But I didn't mean to say that. That's kind of funny. He took a lot of time to get up from the canvas, and it was pretty scary. A lot of people were commenting about that on Twitter, and I wanted to share my experience as a ringside physician with you guys and compare striking in MMA plus striking in boxing. I've been a ringside doctor for approximately 1,000 fights, and it's although dangerous, I've never had adverse adverse complications from a knockout, like a brain bleed, or having fighters be really affected after being knocked out. Concussions, yes, but nothing as severe as I've had when I've been a doctor in boxing events. Of course, I've been the ringside physician for CBS Sports Boxing in a couple of events. And, remembering back almost 4 years ago, it's the Jose Aro versus Daniel Twitch Franco fight. I was one of the doctors in that fight. And, of course, we had a complication in Daniel Twitch Franco of a brain bleed. Actually, 2 brain bleeds, I believe, as you guys are seeing there in a picture of the anatomy. Why is it more common in boxing than in MMA? And we've had... I believe Tim Hague, which passed away. He was actually I believe he was doing a boxing fight when he suffered his injury. Boxing is different, guys. The striking in boxing, you feel it when you're sitting cage side as a ringside physician. You are feeling the hits. You're listening to the sounds, and it's not quite as impressive as when you sit down ringside to 2 professional boxers. It's another thing. It sounds like shotguns going off, and those of you guys that have been live in boxing events know exactly what I mean. Boxing hits are different. Boxing hits are scary. A clean boxing hit like that Baranchyk got caught with is completely and extremely dangerous. That's why when everybody saw Ivan stay down in the canvas for so long, almost in a fetal position, as you guys are seeing there in the picture, what we think about first is a brain bleed, because that's the most nefarious complication that we can have from a knockout. And he was out for I like to say he was pretty dazed and out for at least what seemed to be 2 to 3 minutes. Ringside physicians were above him, pretty quickly. They were evaluating him. The ringside physician had his pen light, checking pupil dilation. Of course, that's one of the earlier signs of a serious brain bleed or a serious brain condition is, the irregular dilation, contraction and dilation of the pupils, and a paradoxical reaction to light. You're supposed to shine the pupil with your light, and it's supposed to get small, and sometimes you got that paradoxical or just not unresponsive pupil that lets you know, hey, this fighter is getting a little bit more affected. We need to stabilize right there in the ring and take him to the hospital to be scanned. So what can Baranchyk expect after his fight this night? Of course, he's going to be taken to the emergency room to receive a CAT scan and to see if there's any irregularities in his brain. I'll show you guys a picture of what a brain bleed looks like in a CAT scan right here over the video. And it's one of the most serious complications. Of course, knock on wood, we're hoping that he doesn't have a complication. But if he does have a brain bleed, what would tell us that he has a brain bleed right there in the ring? Of course, what I mentioned right now, the irregular pupils. Another thing would be irregular gait. So a fighter that's not quite stable on his feet minutes after the knockout, it's a red flag. Irregular involuntary movements, seizure activity would be something that we look out for, and also the patient simply not being oriented. Not remembering his name, not remembering the date, not remembering where he was, a couple minutes after being knocked out. Those are all key questions and all key things that we really observe when we're evaluating the fighter as a physician. But if he did have a brain bleed, of course, we can expect prompt surgical intervention to drill holes into the skull and remove this hematoma, this collection of blood, as you guys are seeing in the picture above the video. So, Baranchyk, a tough guy, but when big hits in boxing get you and you go out like that, it's scary. It's scary. So here's hoping that he gets a quick recovery and he gets promptly taken to the hospital. That's how we prevent complications, horrible complications. So here's for a quick recovery for Baranchyk, and tremendous win for Zepeda. But I think that was a highlight in boxing tonight. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I've seen an increased activity here in the channel. I'm super happy about what I'm seeing here. A lot of people, a lot of discussion about everything that we see in these injuries, and it's all for the betterment of the MMA and boxing community. So I'm all for it. So if you have any comments on how to make my channel better, just put it down there in the comments. I like to give each one of you a shout out. So keep watching and keep commenting, and it's only going to get better and bigger here in the Octagon Doctor channel. Here you won't see any football, baseball. It's strictly combat sports analysis and injury analysis. So I hope you guys love it, because I do.